How to choose the right tech tools to grow your store. I've demoed over 100. I've put on my site, ecommercetech.io. Feel free to go there if you want. Over 120 different independent reviews of products that I've sat in specific to e-commerce. And prior to doing this business, I demoed like 200 apps before. So I've done a lot of demos. I've been in e-commerce when I was working in-house at BoxyCharm. I also ran an agency that serviced e-commerce called Vulpine Interactive, and I was in e-commerce technology running marketing over at Gorgeous back in the early days. Now they've grown so much, it's quite amazing. So, and then I'll give you a sneak peek. We're building, so sitting with merchants and talking through the tech stack over 270 times. I know that it's a very similar process, and now we're turning that into technology. So I'm very pleased to pre-announce that in probably April or May of 2022, we will be releasing a recommendation engine and stack management platform that you can download and use for free to track the tools that you're using in your stack, understand if they're providing value for you, and then also build, probably for the first time ever, a roadmap for which tools you should execute on today, tomorrow, when your store hits this many website visitors, when it hits this much revenue, et cetera, et cetera. So we're working hard to build that now and really look forward to releasing that to all of you in the future. In the meantime, if you want to just get an overview of the landscape, and I think this is actually, I think we've got over 200 products on this now, you can go to ecomtech.link/landscape and download it's a 35 megabyte PDF file with all the logos for over 50 categories, I want to say, in e-commerce technology. And these are the vetted quality tools, right? If you go to the Shopify App Store, you've got over 6,000 tools to choose from there. And a lot of them are really small tools that just do one really basic thing. These are kind of like the larger players in the established spaces that you need for growth of the store. And if you're a app developer watching this, you can submit to get listed on this as well. So before we get into talking about the tools, you need to understand bigger picture about the market, right? So what it was happening in the beginning of technology, the beginning of the internet, the beginning of e-commerce, right? Shopify comes along and starts to make it easier for e-commerce for people to start stores, manage stores, run stores, and all of these things, which creates a proliferation of technologies to serve those e-commerce merchants. So just like any good old-fashioned gold rush, everyone's jumping to sell a better shovel, sell a better gold pan, whatever it is, sell the horse that gets you to the river where you're mining for gold. I'm running out of metaphors here, but as the market has proliferated, there's been thousands of technology products released in the market, but now we're entering a new stage of consolidation where companies are merging together. Tools are doing more than they've ever done before. Klaviyo just raised $320 million so that they can launch SMS and build a customer data platform. They used to call themselves an email service provider, if you guys remember that. Yotpo acquired SMS Bump recently. They've got a suite of tools that they've built out all under one umbrella. WeCommerce has acquired 7, 8, I think they're up to 10 tools in the e-commerce technology space. And while they still sit separately, they are essentially under one umbrella. It's an umbrella of technology products that integrate with each other and get to, let's say, cross-market. They're getting more powerful as they join one roof. Go under one roof, and with Assembly doing very similar things. I think they have Refersion now and a couple others, so this needs to get updated actually. But anyways, so you can think about how in the past, you had standalone tools that did standalone things. You had an SMS tool, you had an email service provider. Now we're moving to the stage of all-in-one tools that are actually really good at multiple things at the same time. This is great for us as e-commerce merchants. It simplifies our tool stack. It often lowers costs. It increases the collaboration. It reduces data silos, and it changes how you want to be thinking about purchasing new technology products, most importantly. And then, of course, we've got Shopify having expanded their fulfillment network and launch Shop Pay. And there's probably a good chance that Shopify will launch something like shop.com or shopme.com. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be an Amazon competitor. I'm waiting for it to launch. It's got to be coming soon. It's just, I can't imagine them not doing that. So next, before going into the actual tools themselves, we have to think about the changing dynamics of e-commerce and the rise of the digitally native vertical brands. These are brands that are built web first, right? So we see on and this is before, this data is from before there was a pandemic, right? All right, just a few really quick ideas. We're running out of time already. If you can't see your metrics daily, you need a daily metric dashboard. I can't believe how many merchants aren't doing actual split testing. This is when 50% of your traffic is going to one page and 50% of your traffic is going to another page. And maybe that page has a different piece of social proof. Maybe it has a review widget and the other half doesn't. You need to understand when you make a change to your website, how is that impacting conversion rate and average order value? And if you don't actually understand the change when you make a change to the site, then you don't know if you're improving the site. You're just flipping levers and switches. You're just being a monkey and not getting to the bottom of whether this is helping. And then on the customer development side, you need to be talking to customers on a regular basis. And it's not just customer service. That's a great place to talk to customers, but you need to be like on the phone chatting with somebody that didn't just have a big problem with your company. And I could go on about that. Okay, let's get into the tech stack finally. There are two types of tools that we can think about when it comes to helping us in our business. KPI-driven tools that improve a value metric that's often associated with revenue, conversion rate and growth of the business. And then you have time savers, which are important, but we're not going to talk about today. Time savers are literally just, like Excelify. It just saves me a couple of hours. Even Zapier could be considered one of those, things that can automate a process that you've been doing for too long. Time savers are great and all, but we want real impact, and KPI-driven tools are where the money really is. So in order to understand the process that I'm going to lay out for you, let me talk about the process in which you're probably already choosing technology products. This is the most common way that I see all merchants, 270 plus merchants, do this. It usually starts with a small fire in the business that starts growing and growing into a big fire that you finally realize you need to put out. Then you take one of your team members who's likely underqualified and focused on one specific activity, like answering customer service emails, and you task them with finding the right help desk solution, right? So they have no real experience and probably don't understand the cohesiveness of the tool, how it needs to integrate with the stack. They're probably slightly underqualified to understand what feature sets it needs, even though they're handling all these customer service tickets themselves. They're not thinking about email because they've never done marketing. They just do customer service, but they're undoubtedly on it, and they're going to find the best tool for you. So once they are on their way, they're going to consult our overlord Google. Always watching. Google always has the right answer. If it's not in the top 3 search results, you're screwed. Hopefully they found something good there. And at the end of this very scientific process, through all of the demos, which are unavoidable, and all the Facebook group posts asking, hey, what tool are you guys using for customer service? And then they look at what their competitors are doing. They maybe just found a tool that helps the company grow, and then they have to go back to the executive team and get buy-in and figure out if they have it in the budget, right? This is the process. It's like the opposite of how you need to be thinking about technology products. Most specifically, I would argue that instead of waiting for fires, you don't necessarily want to implement the tool without there being a fire, but you should know that the fire is growing and start kind of knowing that the tool is going to be coming alongside it. But unfortunately, it usually happens in this retroactive way because that's how humans nature is, right? So here's a very simple 7-step process that you can follow in order to better kind of vet, manage, onboard tools. Make sure that you're finding the right tools, and make sure that you are doing it before the fire becomes too big. Right, so it starts with the basic needs analysis, which includes the integrations that you're going to need and the budget that you have for the tool. So the needs analysis is simply like, okay, what problem are we trying to solve? What metric do we want to change in our business? How are the tools going to impact that metric? How are the tools going to impact our systems and processes inside our organization? Who's going to be in charge of this tool? How much time are they going to spend on it? Do we actually have that amount of time to spend on that tool? Are we going to be underutilizing this tool? Are we going to rely on it too much? Is it going to be the backbone of our entire business organization, right? You need to understand these things before you go out and looking, before you even do one Google search. By the way, I prefer it if you search on my site than Google. We've tried to do a better job than Google at answering these questions. It should be a little bit easier for you. So And then finally, you need to understand the switching and lock-in costs. So email service providers, customer service help desks, they tend to have more lock-in costs because you have these rules, macros, flows, campaigns that you have all built out, templates and branding and all of these things that go along that you need in order to switch over to a new provider. And so for that reason, it's harder to switch, and you need to be certain that when you're switching, you're making the right decision, because it's going to take a lot of effort to first move over, and then secondly, if you need to move again in the future, it's going to take a lot of effort. And so the larger the effort that it's going to take to implement a tool, the larger the cost of that tool, the more time you should be spending vetting and creating a short list. So yes, you can do it through Google search, friend recommendations, through our site a little, and our tool that will be coming out in the future will be able to help you shortlist products. And then you do need to demo them, because each tool, there is a lot of feature parity across tools. SMS providers, they all send text messages, believe it or not, right? They're all going to have the same things. They're all going to have a way for you to send a blast. They're going to have a way for you to send a triggered message. They're going to be able, I think all of them allow you to send an image. Those are all the things that are on parity. So where do the differences really come in, and what do you need? Often that's with the integrations. Maybe it's certain triggers on custom fields, like you have a quiz that you want custom events to fire on, or you need a special coupon code that's time sensitive and populate in a certain way, or you want a gift to be auto created for a product collection or something like that, right? Everyone has slightly different needs, and you need to go into the demo typically to really understand how that tool is going to differentiate from its competitors. And then I mentioned it briefly, but who is going to manage and be in charge of that tool determines the tool often. Like with SMS, there are some providers that it's like the most advanced SMS marketing platform you can use. So you need an advanced marketer on your team to manage it. Otherwise, you should go with a simpler solution. Or there are other SMS tools where they are kind of like managed services. They do the work for you on top of it, right? So that it could be great for a company that doesn't have that resource internally. So those are the basic things. And then if you can roll out anything that changes your website as a test, as a true split test, not enough people are testing their tools to really understand impact and conversion rate. As I alluded to earlier, you cannot trust the SMS dashboard on how much revenue it generated you. That's just attributed revenue. It's not directly like money in the pocket, because you add up that and your email service provider and your Facebook ads, and it's going to be more than your total revenue, right? Like three times more sometimes. And then as you onboard and go through the process, you need to make sure that you've set up the tool to its fullest. Most 1-star reviews that aren't fake in the Shopify App Store they're 1-star simply because the merchant didn't use the tool to the fullest. Didn't work for me, 1-star. Oh, that's because you didn't have any sales last month. All sorts of reasons, right? So that's why I personally, side rant, don't believe that user reviews are the right way for people to judge technology products. So I typically wouldn't use them as a basis point. Now, if you see that there's 5,000 reviews versus 5 reviews, that just shows that the tool is more established in the market, or that tool is used in a daily basis. The tools that get 5 reviews might be tools that work really well, but you just plug into the business and you never log into the back end. So lots of reasons why reviews are kind of a rigged system. Some quick questions to ask yourself, and I know we're probably starting to run low on time, and I haven't even showed you some really cool tools that I want to get to. Is the tool built for e-commerce? Is it have a native Shopify app if you're on Shopify, etc.? Building for e-commerce is so important, because like customer service help desks, there are help desks that aren't built for e-commerce. They don't answer the where's my order question very well. They don't integrate with Shopify. So your customer service team is going to have to pull data off of 3 different tabs in order to respond to a customer, whereas customer service help desks that are built for Shopify are going to instantly have all that data in front of you, create rules and macros that send it out automatically. Huge difference, right? Is it priced fairly for value? So you always want to be paying them based on a value metric that they are providing in your business. So sometimes that metric is revenue. Okay, we're increasing revenue, but like I said, if an SMS tool is saying that it charges a percentage of the revenue that it tracked, then it's like, well, how are you tracking the revenue? Because that we have to agree that you're not completely attributing all of the revenue appropriately, right? So how are they going to be priced? And how does that price bake into your margin? Email service providers charge basically usually on contacts, so number of contacts in the database. So you can calculate how over the course of a month, if I get 5,000 new customers and I pay $500, I'm paying like 10 cents per customer or something like that to have my have my email service provider work for me. So there's that can be baked into your margin. Understanding technology costs as a percentage of margin and building it into your cost of goods sold is totally doable. Integrations, resource allocation, I kind of touched on those things already. Quick tips for you. Don't sign contracts unless you absolutely have to for larger tools. Always try and vet more than 2 tools if you can. So that means 2 demos, 3 demos. Take your time with it. If you're looking at just one solution, widen your options, right? Look at it. Look at their direct competitor. Ask them who their direct competitor is and see what they say about it. And of course, you can just type in their name verse in Google search or on my site and figure it out. Funded or high growth companies are typically better because they're going to build more features, stay on top of the market. They're going to be adding AI to their technology soon, which is going to make a big difference, just as examples. Pricing transparency is really important. So I kind of hinted at it earlier, but another component of it is a tool that I like to reference called Spently. Spently charges on the number of orders per month you have, but sometimes that number spikes in November for Black Friday. That's why we're talking here, right? And then in December or January, that goes down drastically. Well, Spently created a pricing transparency model where if the orders go down, your costs automatically go down appropriately. Is that happening for your email service provider when you remove 15,000 contacts because they haven't bought from you in 3 years, right? Is that happening automatically for other providers with things like website traffic going up and down? So think about that when you're buying and make sure that the partner, the technology partner is working for you in that way. Sometimes sales reps will tell you things like, oh, we work with, Target and Walmart and Best Buy. And you're like, I just do $1 million a year in my small D2C store. Like, I don't want to work with somebody that only does enterprise, right? Like, you're probably too big for me. You're going to be too expensive. So listen to those cues. They won't tell you no. They won't say, we can't sell to you. They'll just tell you like hints of things that aren't quite aligned with your goals. And you have to say no. Some basic tool stack stuff here. I'm not going to get into it too much. I want to show you some of the individual tools. Let's talk about Caro. Really great tool. Install it. It's free. Caro helps you understand the social followings of your influencers. So just by plugging it in, you can see that this person purchased from us a few days ago. You can even see what their order history looks like. You see that they have 381,000 followers. Wow, I have this person's mailing address. Maybe I should mail them a special thank you box or something like that so that I could possibly get some free exposure, right? So there's a lot of different things we can do to work with the influencers who already love our brand. SparkToro, the search engine for influence, understanding the percentage of audience that Diet Doctor thinks of keto based on like a lot of data. It's really, really smart. And there's a lot of cool things you can do to understand whether certain social accounts or brands are aligned with your cause or your business, right? And understanding how likely they are to impact in that way. Recart, messenger marketing tool, very phenomenal tool. Helps you build really complex flows so that you can do click to messenger ads, follow-ups in messenger. You can capture email and phone and turn it from messenger to omnichannel, and you can build quizzes and do it in messenger. How's it going, Kunle? Do I got time?
Okay. Good. Go for it. We've got about a minute
cool.
or so.
I'll wrap it up here in just a second. Gorgeous. You're going to hear from them. But the where's my order issue solved with the auto response. And then you can also manage all of your customer service inquiries here. Ad tech, there's 2 really cool tools. Copysmith is actually building the ad copy for you in just a few easy clicks. Pencil is building the video ad for you in just a few easy clicks and taking all of your brand assets and turning them to videos and then testing it on channel to figure out how it performs best. Rockerbox, attribution modeling, so cool. Look, we can actually see what paid search spend and real cost per acquisition when we include its impact from other channels. This is, paid search is taking usually more credit than it is due. And you can, of course, and it actually builds the model and you can see the attribution there. Story Pop is turning your website into an Instagram story experience and then linking to your products so that you can be more shoppable and more sellable. 460 is tagging your products. It's bringing your Instagram feed onto the site, and then you can tag your products. Site is a visual discovery platform. Okendo, great for reviews. Upsells are important. And let's see, there's a few more. Oh my gosh, it keeps going. All right, I'll stop there. Thanks so much, everybody. If you want, I talk to merchants all the time about their tools. It's completely free. There's literally no catch. You go to ecomtech.link/consult, book a time with me. I'd love to chat.
Incredible, incredible. And I'm going to address the audience now. Do you see why I was looking forward to this chat? It's just incredible. I think this is a must watch for any e-commerce manager, or e-commerce director looking to effectively build out their tech stack in a structured, methodic way. So, Derric, incredible, presentation, and I've learned to. I was actually taking screenshots as you were, moving through. A few things I just pulled out from this conversation. One was the rise of the super apps, the
Yeah.
consolidation you're talking about. The other was like Shopify, Shopify going into a marketplace, consolidating, a lot of its merchants. And the third was testing. Retailers need to test, on their site. What do you think, or how do you think retailers? Just one question. My one question is really, what should be retailers or merchants approach to Q4 from a tech stack point of view? Now that we're in September, how do they sort of do a rain check and effectively allow technology work for them and
Yeah,
not the other way
it's
around?
it's a dangerous time, and a lot of companies are going to do a tech freeze in like October, mid-October, or early November, which I think is totally respectable. And that means that you have to get the tools in place now beforehand. So the first thing is thinking about your actual volume, predicted volume for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and what systems will that break? It's going to create a flood of customer service inquiries. It's going to create a flood of website traffic, and there might be a lot of discounts you're going to be giving out, which could create other problems in the business. And then because of all this traffic and this big opportunity that you're prepping for, you want conversion rate to be at its best, right? As top notch as possible. Now you have to start split testing from, last year, from the long, like split testing doesn't just happen for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but figuring out what's going to increase conversion rate and looking at a few of the best practices. I skipped over tools like Price Stack that optimizes your pricing, Phoenix Commerce that optimizes or shows your landed shipping time, increases conversion rate, upsell tools, personalization tools, and all that stuff. They just need to be in place. These are fundamental systems that you need. Great on-site search with better on-site search and instant on-site search and all that stuff, really important as well. And just making sure that all those communication channels are monitored. Oh, live chat is another huge thing to have installed on the site. So just having conversion rate, average order volume, lifetime value well optimized, which means testing the whole year through and making sure that the tool stack is really top notch. And so across the board.
Well, thank you so much. We'll be sharing your deck, with watchers, with attendees. Derric, the best way to get through to you is ecommercetech.io. You guys just enjoy. Connect with Derric after this. There's a chat facility here.
Yeah, thanks
Derric,
so much. I'll
thank
be
you.
in the chat talking to everyone.